Good morning, campers. Welcome to the Cut the Camera podcast. I am Nicholas STURNIOLO.
I am Matt.
I'm Chris.
And we are together the
Chris.
STURNIOLO triplets. And this is our podcast, the Cut the Camera podcast. Today we are going to be talking about the life as triplets. I feel like that's been the number one staple in our life. It is the perfect way to segue into a podcast as existing content creators because, it's the truth. We all know it in and out really well. And that's going to be the topic of interest today.
Cut the Camera being the podcast theme and just life behind camera and whatnot. This is a good topic for new viewers that are curious about what it is like as triplets.
Yeah.
And our other viewers from our other channel that are existing that want to know deeper about who we are. And
yeah, we're starting it
stuff
off
like
as
that.
if the number one question is who the fuck are those guys?
yes.
And here's our answer. Welcome to that. First topic, we are going to be talking about just simply looking alike and what that means for you, Chris.
For me,
Looking alike, what is that about being a triplet? We look alike. That's the number one thing in my mind. When people are like, oh, what is it like being a triplet is the overall question. And then I feel like looking alike our entire childhood and our entire life has led us to so many different things.
I agree.
You know what I
Agreed.
mean?
Yeah.
Fully.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like we don't look alike. Just for me, personally, growing up with you guys for 19 years now, almost 20, which makes me want to hurl. I feel so old. But, when us three are together, I literally can, pinpoint the exact differences between us.
Well,
and
I think that people are always like, you look so much alike, but that's someone who says that is someone who's known us for literally 24 hours.
Yeah.
Even our viewers, I don't think have ever had a problem with telling us apart. I think that meeting new people, they're always like, oh my God, who's who? But I think genuinely spending one day with us, you'll be able to tell the difference.
People
agree.
also don't understand that, our odds on telling each other apart are,
significantly higher.
People get confused that, we know who each other are.
how
and
can
it's
you
like-
tell your brothers
I
apart?
remember someone literally asking me, how do you tell your brothers apart? And I'm like, well, my odds are 50-50 and everyone else's are 33-33-33.
Yeah, your odds are 50-50, and you've known the other two for about 19
And I know myself.
years.
I
so
could tell you guys apart by, with my eyes shut, how fast you walk down the flight of stairs.
I agree.
Yeah, but I've also, another thing that's crazy is we're literally triplet siblings and people say we look like all the time. But I've seen literal pairs of best friends that look more alike than we do to each other.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Anyways, Matt, bring us to something.
Okay, I think, with looking alike that topic, I wrote down one of the funny experiences that I think growing up, looking alike affected, I don't know what I'm saying here, but
It's okay.
just funny stories, one time in the kitchen, if our mom is making dinner, and Nick's in the living room, and she's making me dinner. So she's making me SpaghettiOs, right? I love SpaghettiOs as a kid.
Dude,
weirdo,
and gross
I
kid.
did. And imagine she finishes cooking the SpaghettiOs. I'm standing right next to her, and she screams, "Matt, come get your SpaghettiOs!" But I'm right there. It's like, dude, it's like I'm already
It's just so funny.
with the
Dude,
SpaghettiOs.
with mom and dad, it's so different because they know us apart so well. But God help them. With mom especially, I could be right next to mom and she's just gonna list every other kid but
Well, I think
me.
that's a mom thing. That's just having kids in general. I was on the phone with mom the other day and we were talking for a half hour and she was walking our dog. And then she went into the house and she was on the phone with me here in LA. And she was like, come on, Nick, come on. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, Trevor, won't go inside. And I'm like, well, you're calling him my name.
Yeah,
so
that's-
no wonder he's not going in the house.
Or when she calls you the dog.
Yeah,
the other way
that's,
around. I love mom. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
That's
I
just
feel
so funny.
another thing is bro, every single time we get noticed in public, not by our fans, by legitimate strangers, I feel like they never say oh, are you guys triplets? It's always twins.
It's always twins because
which is so weird to
I
me
feel
because
like
it's bro,
people-
it's obvious we're
I
not
feel
twins.
like people they always ask, "Oh, are you two twins?" instead of straight up "Oh, are you guys triplets?" Because it's way more reasonable that there's twins. But triplets just seems too unreasonable to
it's so
assume.
funny, bro. People they literally look at all three of us and be like, "Oh my God, you guys are twins."
Yeah.
But I also,
No.
you can also tell, it's 100% the reasonable thing. They definitely ask if there's twins simply because it's more reasonable. Because I see people look at us and know that we're triplets and want to ask it, but they just seem you can see that they will feel stupid asking if we're triplets out loud just because of the odds are so low.
Yeah, and I think that was also a really funny part of just like being in public all the time and like
Mhm.
being seen as us three like walking through places. Because like the other day when we were going to Boa and we saw the twins get out of the car and you were like, oh my god, twins.
No, that shit threw me off because there was a car
it's-
in front of us, and this dude gets out, and he's driving the car, and then someone dressed exactly like him gets out on the passenger side of the car, and I thought like I was tripping because I thought that the dude had like gotten out and then like ran around the car
Yeah.
and like got out again. So that's
But,
why
like,
I was just confused.
It's funny because like that was like the first time that we saw twins and like you were like,
and I was like, oh shit.
oh, and then like
these are
you
twins.
don't realize that like every day walking through like Target or just going out in public, people must always look at us like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
three of the same person right
Yeah.
there.
Imagine if we dressed alike head to toe.
No.
I don't want to
Yeah,
imagine
I'm
that.
not
I'm not
imagining
gonna
that.
actually.
Our mom did so good at like separating. I almost said it
Yeah,
with
my
a
mom
B.
separated
Yeah.
us really, really
Separating
well
us.
with like she gave us specific colors, which ironically are either our like favorite or least favorite colors like to
Mhm.
this day.
Yeah.
Like my mom kind of assigned us colors. Like our mom was really, really good at keeping us individuals right away because
Yeah.
like another thing that's crazy is like when you have triplet kids, like when we were younger, we looked exactly the same.
Exactly.
Bro,
the
imagine
same.
We've
the
always
triple
had, like, the
decker
same-
stroller was crazy.
Yeah.
That's like
Like
out
that's
of
like Horton Hears a Who shit.
yeah,
bro.
exactly.
So
Like,
my
you
mom
see
used
that
to
in the
have my mom
Grinch.
used to like get us clothes or like I feel like it was like sometimes like her friends like who were just like so amazed that she had triplets like getting her gifts. We had a lot of clothes with our names on them. Like
Yeah,
I had like
I feel like
shirts with like it said Nick. Like,
yeah,
sewn
she
in.
had the
Uh-huh.
sewing kit out. Every single shirt that we had our names on it.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
That shit
really,
was
really
classic,
great.
bro. I love it, honestly. I think it was hard.
I do too.
No, I love those.
The built-in nickname on the shirt.
Well, our
like,
outfits
I
were just
agree.
like absolutely top tier when we were children. But anyways, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about things we hate about being triplets.
wow.
Really taking a dark turn. Does anyone have anything they want to start it off with?
I feel like instantly you just gotta think of like the cringy, corny nicknames, bro.
Yeah.
Trips.
Trips is a nightmare.
The triplets.
That's
No, the
actually
triplets is normal.
like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. I
no,
feel like,
I think that it's just like the Three Musketeers. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're
what's
so
your favorite
original.
candy bar? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I've had way too many people.
What's your favorite candy
Are
bar?
expecting us to
say
say
like Three Musketeers. I don't even know who those fuckers are. I don't know who any of the three of them are.
who are the Three Musketeers?
The joke is
That's
that
the-
we are them, Nick.
But like my thing is they're referencing back to the Three Musketeers. I don't even know
No,
who
they're
they are.
referencing back to a candy bar.
Like
No,
not.
Wait,
Ain't
search
the
it.
candy bar about
I don't know. That
I don't,
really
guys.
I don't
confused.
think so.
or
The Three Stooges, and they're like,
yes,
Mo, Larry,
Three
Curly.
Stooges.
Yes,
Oh
that's-
my god.
And they're like,
Wait,
which
wait,
one's
are you
Mo?
Mo?
Are you?
Yeah,
that
I'm
one's
just
so
like,
And they're like,
lame.
oh no, Matt's Mo, Matt Mo, Chris Curly.
Oh, you gotta change your name to Larry or something.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm talking to Nick. Oh, you get like, oh, so you're gonna
Okay.
change
Are
your
you-
name
are
to
you
Larry
Lucas
or something? It's like, no, just
Bro,
I think another thing that I really didn't like about being triplets was being treated as the same person.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
I feel like people will
it's
often
terrible.
just be like across the board for every single subject ever, like people genuinely think that if like Chris is wearing a black shirt that I need to wear a black
Yeah.
shirt. Or
Yeah.
I also
Yes.
feel like the once me and Nick started getting tattoos, and it's just like, what's your next one gonna be? Your name on your forehead?
Yeah, like terrible. I think one of the worst things about actually being triplets is honestly the bad jokes that come along with it.
Terrible.
Like
And like, it's funny because it's like the only three people that are gonna think that these are corny are us three, because it's like
Yeah.
everyone else
it's-
thinks it's so funny.
The thing that's bad, or not the thing that's bad, but the thing that's funny about it is every single person growing up that said we should have our name tattooed on our forehead or like wear name tags or something, they all thought they were the first one ever making
I was
that
about
joke.
to say, like, do you
Like,
think that they
they
really thought
really-
they were the first person
No,
to say that?
they fully thought they were like, oh my god, this is like,
Like, do you know how many
unique
times
and
I've been asked
new.
in my whole life if I knew who the Three Stooges were? Like, probably
Oh,
more than
oh my god,
how are you? I've heard.
yeah.
Do you know the fucking Three Stooges? Whatever the fuck.
I've
it
never
is.
seen an episode of it.
Also,
but
another
me
thing
either.
that I hated about being triplets, or I guess hate because it kind of is happening. I don't like the word hate.
okay,
Dislike.
Yeah, one thing I disliked about being triplets, or it was difficult when we were younger, is like automatically being three people. Where like
Mhm.
if we had a friend, right? I remember like genuinely being like not invited to shit because we were triplets. Where like kids would have like a birthday party and their parents would be like, oh, you can bring like 8 people to like this dinner or whatever. Me, Matt, and Chris are already 3 people. So even if the person was all of our friends, sometimes I felt like it was kind of like the person felt like if they were picking us for like 3 of the people to bring to their birthday party, that
Yeah.
since the 3 of us came together and there was like no picking
Mhm.
and choosing, it kind of just seemed like too much. So people would just be
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not gonna
I
Mhm.
agree.
Do you know what I mean? Or does
I
that
do
sound
know what
crazy?
you mean. It's like if you have like a birthday party that's 5 slots and that you invite us through, you have literally
you have
2 slots left.
Or another thing of like we had a minivan our entire life, and like my mom used to drive us places, and like I feel like me, Matt, and Chris were always kind of like the house you'd go to hanging out, or like the mom that would drive would be our mom, and it was because like all of our friends had like cars that fit 5 people. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's like we had like this massive minivan where it's like if you were hanging out with us after school, say like Matt made a plan with a friend after school and Chris made a plan with a friend after school, that's 5 people already, just because we're already starting at 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of just the constant thing
I'm kind
like
of reverting back to the other topic real quick because I think I have one more funny thing that I want to say. But I think like the most annoying thing that I would get asked growing up would be like if one of us like none of us really ever got like visible injuries when we were little, like broken arm or broke a leg, but like, oh, when you stubbed your toe, did he feel it? Like if I punched,
Bro, like come on.
like if I punched you in the arm, would he?
It's
feel like,
crazy
bro.
that people ask that with expecting a genuine response.
Bro,
of
I feel like a
literally,
lot of
yes.
questions people ask with like wanting a for real response.
I
and it's
remember,
like
like,
wow, like
dude.
it's like maybe ask that question yourself in the mirror and just take a look at how fucking stupid you sound.
Dude, I remember, that's crazy. But I remember like just
Serious?
fucking with people and being like, yes. Feeling
Yeah.
like, oh, can you read each other's mind? I'm like, oh yeah. Like when Nick's upset, like far, far away, I can like feel it. Like I know he's upset.
I feel like it is kind of true though.
that part is actually true.
So
Yeah.
like you just kind of
No, but
But,
like,
like, no, I don't know.
on like some levels, we did
No,
exaggerate.
I feel like
just
if you guys are like really like at an all-time low deep down, we could be like a million miles apart. And I think I'd sense it. I think I'd feel it.
that's deep.
We should honestly test it, bro.
what am I gonna do?
We should
Yeah,
like
I don't know how
no,
we're
we
gonna do
should
that.
separate for like a week and then like one of the days plan to have the worst day ever.
But like you
I
can't
feel like
really
we should do the
plan
opposite.
that.
Like you sit in like dormant for 6 days, and then randomly out of the week, one day, like you have like a surprise party thrown for you and do like some like the best day ever.
What?
Like
I
kind of
don't
like the
even.
opposite.
Okay,
that-
and you
that
have
was
to
crazy.
you have to
man.
try and sense the
Insane.
joy.
I feel like the
that you
worst
feel.
is the you should. You guys should like shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You guys should get your names tattooed on your forehead. You guys should like like what are the worst like you guys should ones?
You guys should switch places and confuse people.
Bro.
yeah, that one's awful.
I don't want to.
What do we let's just switch to what we actually do enjoy about being triplets instead of what we hate about it.
Yeah, let's bring a more positive light.
I
to
say
the
built-in
situation.
friends.
Oh,
Like you know, like there's kind of like
that's beautiful.
I feel like with like sleepovers and stuff, when people are like, "Oh, I want to have like a sleepover with my friend," it's like people would always try and like.
Yeah,
I
red
think
nerd. I do it
being
every
an
day.
only child is like a crazy thing to me because it's like literally like an only child to be like, "Oh, they have a sleepover with their friend," and that like must seem like some crazy thing. 'Cause it probably happens once every like 2
Yeah.
weeks. Where for us, it was like sleepovers were happening every single night that like the 3 of us decided to sleep in the same room,
That's true.
which was pretty much every single night.
Yeah, true that.
But like I think we still got like the same excitement if we had like Nate sleepover, us sleepover.
Well, I don't think
Nate's.
we had our first sleepover with like legit friends until we were in like 8th grade
Yeah.
or 6th grade.
Yeah, the fact that we never had to play like Mario Kart alone.
That was huge, dude.
Like,
really
absolutely
important, honestly.
Absolutely major.
Like
major.
so amazing.
Imagine like actually put yourself in this scenario.
Okay.
After school, you walked home alone.
Mhm.
You're bored. You didn't make plans with any friends, and you go to your Wii system and put Mario Brothers in.
Just
Mario
go-
Kart in, and you play
Against
versus
9
11 computers, and you race them, trying to get first place.
It's
What's the fun in playing Mario Kart completely alone?
yeah.
It was just like also just like Fortnite duos, Fortnite trios.
I feel like most
You got to talk into the mic and louder.
Fortnite duos, Fortnite trios. I feel
There
like
we go.
90%,
So fun.
90% of activities are more fun. I almost just said funner. That's a crazy thing.
Is
I feel
that
like
not a
even being
word?
able to
Oh.
just walk in the backyard and play catch if we wanted to. Yeah,
oh
I agree.
my god. Or like basketball, bro. I
Yes.
love basketball.
I hate basketball.
I love
That's why I
basketball.
literally could not care less about the
I feel
ability
like
to play
you
basketball.
played basketball with us growing up though. Like
yeah, I
you
don't know what I
enjoyed-
was doing.
yeah, but
Dude,
it
you're
was fun.
like it's fun.
For you.
No, you
had
had
I
fun.
remember,
You
like,
definitely
oh
had
my
fun.
god, I remember.
I
I'm
remember
not
Nick
even gonna
Euro
say.
stepping in the
I'm not gonna
Exactly.
say who. But we used to play basketball with someone that used to be the most annoying person ever and like dribble. every single time. Like it was some random.
That's what you do.
No, it was someone like that no one on the internet knows. Like it was just like a
I know what you're
figment of my
talking about.
imagination.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about him, but it was like we were like legit 8, and it was like our neighborhood friend that like I don't think we've ever. I don't even remember shit, but. We used to play like knockout, and when you go to like the free throw line, you're supposed to shoot the ball, but they dribble it like 10 times to like focus or like get ready. I'm just like, bro, like shoot the ball.
Yeah,
That
I
used to
hate
drive
people
me
that
crazy.
dribble in
NBA.
basketball.
No, like that wasn't my point.
Okay, but whatever.
Never being alone.
Yeah,
Aw.
that's huge.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's like, bro, if you're gonna go walk to a convenience store at 1 a.m. to get candy, you're not gonna want to do it alone.
I
And
agree.
It's like the fact that we were open, like you always have that friend that like is like, oh, like, fuck it, let's just do it type shit.
I think
with
one of my
us.
favorite things is about like monitoring or being able to like really like proofread or peer read. I don't know how to say it correctly, but I think of like when like a girl is in like an argument with her boyfriend, right? And like there's like that ongoing joke that like the girl will like screenshot the text or like take a photo of it on her iPad and send it to a group chat of like 10 people, and like all of her friends will like tell
Yeah.
her what to reply. Where it's like when any scenario that we were in ever, if we were like texting somebody, if we were calling somebody,
anytime we needed.
anytime we were like doing anything, there was always like peer revision like right there.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
we never had like those group chat scenarios of like
because
like,
like
I feel
very
like the three of us-
balanced out
But
as
it's, like,
well.
it's just like
Yeah.
having a friend group that you can actually 100% trust.
Yeah.
and literally access at any time of day, any
Yeah,
time of night.
yeah.
Like if I even like posting something,
and
like, on
especially when
Instagram,
you're
I'll be
more
like, oh, I
when
gotta
you're
run
more
this by
dramatic
someone.
about things.
Oh
It tends to me and Chris tend to
no, because my
Keep you in
my
line.
Yes.
initial reaction, like I have to say, like forget about our car videos. Our car videos are very like if you guys are here for the first time, you don't know who we are. We film a lot of content like in the car, joking around with each other, and a lot of the time I go on like random tangents and I will yell about a bunch of like nonsense. But for me, that's very much like I want people to like forget about what they know about us, but it also like our roles in the content we already create is so like loosely based off of like our real life, if
I
that
agree.
makes sense.
I think
it's
I
not
think
like
the car
we're
videos
arguing
are
about, like-
dramatized versions of who we are for that content, in a sense.
I agree. And what
Well, I feel like that's like
not like
it's like also not
play,
true, but it's like
played up a
'cause
little
no,
bit.
what
I think it is like the car videos is who we are and what we did. I mean, what we do. But it's just a matter of like the timing of it. Like when you're alone with your 3 brothers at fucking 1 a.m. in a parking lot eating McDonald's and
Yeah.
you're exhausted, you're tired, you're funny, you're like
Yeah.
delusional. Like you're bound to say some dumb shit that like you wouldn't say when you wake up at fucking
Exactly.
9 in
Yes.
the morning.
And that's
I
why-
feel like that's like a thing is like whenever we're with people like at like 3 o'clock during the day or like just hanging out like with a group of people, they expect us to make like us
Stupid
3 to start
jokes.
freaking out and make like
Yeah.
a ton
Yeah.
of jokes, and it's like
But
Like,
that's
we-
kind
this
of
is-
why.
like that the car videos and shit is truly how our conversations at night went before
Yeah.
yeah.
we
But
did
that's
that.
why I want like everyone who, if you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you're here as a returning viewer from like content we used to create, I want whoever's watching to forget everything they could possibly know about the STURNIOLO triplets and really just prepare themselves for like a new version of us. Because as much as it's the same thing, this is like 100% like us speaking our truth and like being authentic,
Yeah.
like in a real life scenario and not
Uh-huh.
like joking around silly goofy.
Fully agreed.
And what I mean is like going back to like the peer checking each other constantly is like my initial reaction to a lot of scenarios in life is the like on 100 version of it that needs to be dialed back really, really badly.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why I'm so blessed that I do social media, especially like with my brothers, because there's a lot of the times I catch myself and I'm just like, wow, he needs to relax.
I'm glad you realized.
That's amazing.
That's like
You
the
know what I'm
best
saying?
news I've
but
ever
I do
heard.
enjoy it though. Like I enjoy it because sometimes I feel like there's so many things that me, Matt, and Chris like I really, really badly want to like post or talk about or do, and Matt and Chris are like, okay, just like calm down because you're being
Relax.
irrational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
But
things
that
that you
comes
just
with
like.
everything. Like for me, it's like I could, like if I wasn't with you guys, I'd be like, this is another thing that we talk about, like being sober. Me, Matt, and Nick are completely sober, and I think about like shit just simply growing up in high school. Without Nick and Matt, I for sure would have like drank or smoked or done some sort of drugs in my life, like guaranteed.
100%.
Like I have no doubt in my mind that if I didn't have you two also being sober and like because that's what I think like like I think of like when I raise kids, like if I have an only child or like or people that are also only childs right now, like it must be so hard to truly do what you have faith in and believe in as an only child,
I
because
agree.
like I think if you're an only child going to like a party or something and you're getting peer pressured and you don't have like a friend that's also sober or like a brother that's also sober, you're far more likely to fall into something that you don't actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And that's why like I'm like being a triplet, I'm so grateful, because it like when you're with people, and it's more than just like a brother shit, it's more of like a friend shit too. Like
Agreed.
surround yourself with friends and people that like fully are on the 100% like same page as you, and even if they're not, guide you to keep you on
I think
your
it's
same
more
page.
just, it's like I agree with that, but I also think it's more of like a respect thing of
I
like
agree.
you and your friend could be polar opposite of like they drink leisurely for fun and you are completely sober, but as long as you respect their decision and they respect yours and neither of them like combat with each other to the point where like you're always arguing,
100%.
there's no problem in that.
It's like we have friends that have been like stoners, and the friends
Yeah,
that like
and I
drink alcohol, and it's like I've got absolutely no problem with those types of people at all, because who am I to tell somebody
I
who to
agree.
be what
It's
to
just
do?
respect others around you and what they want to do, and don't be a fucking like annoying motherfucker when it comes to other people not wanting to do shit.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Like motherfuckers that care so much about what you do is like the biggest like.
It's the biggest red flag like across the
Agreed.
board ever.
And
Yeah.
I feel like it's honestly
It's like if I
it
use
has to be-
napkins instead of paper towels because I have a fucking irrational fear of paper towels, mind your business.
I
Kill me.
genuinely think
Like,
it has to be
Jesus.
like I genuinely think sometimes peer pressure, the people that do peer pressure others, have to feel insecure about what they're doing as themselves.
If you're
And, like,
genuinely
you
peer
know what I
pressuring
mean?
someone into a negative scenario,
You're
like I
weird.
understand peer pressure in like a positive light. Like I don't think peer pressure has to always be negative.
Well, that's
'cause
not
you
like
could,
peer
like,
pressure. That's more of like a guidance.
Yeah.
Peer
Yeah.
pressure,
Peer pressure
is like
is
I
negative.
think like
as-
I think like negative peer pressure, like forcing someone to do something. Like I think there's nothing more.
Say it.
Literally, like you're a complete fucking loser.
Yeah.
Like if you're just trying to force people onto the bad habits like that you have, it's like you're just a fucking loser, and like you don't want to see anybody do. You don't want to see like the
Like if you're losing,
not
you
gonna
want
do
people
well
to
for
lose with
yeah,
you
it's like one of
type
those people, like
shit.
it's like you can't win and like bring your friends with you. Like if you're losing, you're pulling them all down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like, just to sum
And
it
I'm
up,
not
that
saying,
really
like-
is the beautiful thing about being triplets.
And like, bro,
being
groceries
able-
was always one trip.
that's very
Always.
true.
I don't
Dude,
think I've
the-
ever,
you
unless
like
mom
with-
got like 3 cases of water. It's like, bro.
Bro, I
Yeah.
still one trip,
Like that
I
was
think.
that was like the setup for
Well,
like
you got to keep
multiple
in mind, we had
trips.
us three, we had Justin, we had mom, and we had dad.
Dude, yeah. I
Even though
remember,
I'm putting Justin on blast. He ain't really never helped with the groceries.
no, he did not.
He did not.
Bro wants all the smoke.
But
Also,
also
Justin.
another thing,
like
like going back to it really, really quickly and briefly is like just getting it out there. Is I really do think that us being triplets really set us up for like being sober and being who we are. I almost burped and I went like, I heard it. There it is.
Okay.
But we like it helped us stay sober because of the fact that like our parents obviously encouraged us to be sober, and then like us, I feel like going out, I was always with you two, and like obviously because we're a family, I'd look at you guys and like see mom and dad. So
yeah.
it's like if our friends were out like drinking and like they were like, "Oh, do you want to drink?" I'd be like, the thing for like helping me stay sober is looking at you guys and like seeing my parents, then remembering them. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
also like when I got my license, I used that as very much of like a safety thing for myself. So if I was out smoking and drinking and then driving drunk or
Oh, I thought you were saying that you said that like it happens. I'm like, you've never gone out smoking and drinking.
no, I'm like I'm saying like the scenario, like if I were to go out and like drink or smoke and drive high and drive drunk, I would like that's not why I would want to. Like I wouldn't do that because the driving was my safety thing, you know?
I don't think I'm following that.
It's
Did you
like
get it?
when Matt had his license, it gave him more of a reason to maintain being sober,
Sober.
so that he didn't want to be like,
Because
Yeah.
that was
because he
my-
didn't want to
Okay,
be
yeah,
like
I
a road
understand.
liability.
Yeah. If you drive drunk once again, it's like Uber exists. There's no excuse to be driving drunk
Yeah.
anymore. It's just like so dangerous. Like
I
one of the
agree.
most dangerous things ever.
I 100%
All right,
agree.
next topic about being a triplet. Constant comparison and how that affected us.
I think constant comparison is like, especially with me being gay, is like,
It's kind of ironic.
yeah, sure.
Not like you being gay.
No, I think it's like
I'm saying like
Can I drink the rest of
constant
that?
comparison.
You mean this?
just because we're triplets is like getting
Something.
compared to one another. Like how I look at it is like if you have 3 friends, right? how often do you get compared with your 3 friends? Like, not that often, but when you're a triplet, you get compared to each other at least once every single day that I have been alive.
And I think
no, hold on, let me go.
cook.
Okay, but I feel like, fuck, now you distracted me. But what I'm saying is
No.
like,
Go.
Nick, stop. Let him.
I'm
Hold on.
interested.
hold on. I think that us 3 being constantly compared, obviously being triplets gives people more of a reason to want to do that because we're like super similar. So it's like they want to figure out like, oh, let's just compare them. Like, what's different? What, blah, 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 whatever. All this shit. But I feel like constant comparison with us 3 is like us 3 don't feel as like triplet. Oh my god, like I need to, then people
so
think.
smart.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I feel like people think that us 3 are like so triplet. Like like we shower together, fucking eat dinner together. Like
I think it's because triplets is such a unique thing and people aren't triplets. When they see us, they're kind of just like in this light of like, oh my god, like if they were a triplet, like what would they capitalize on their tripletism for the day? You know what I mean? Like they're just like, if I was a triplet tomorrow and I had 2 more of me, what could I do to make the best out of being a triplet? And I think that's what people think like every single day.
Yeah.
I think that we
When
think
in reality,
every day.
we're like, okay, this is normal.
Like I wake up Nick Sturniolo and then like my second thought is that I'm a triplet. You know what I mean?
I don't
It's
think
not
that I'm
like-
a triplet. Like
I've never
once.
No, I'm just saying, like, obviously, it's
Yeah.
like, I don't think, like, oh, triplet. I just think it's more of, like, my first thought initially is, who am I?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it branches
And
off
that,
into,
like,
like,
that's
oh,
what I'm
in a
saying is
group
like
of
when you're
people.
constantly compared, us 3 are different. Like we have different music tastes. Nick's gay. Fucking, we have different like favorite foods. We're allergic to
Absolutely.
different things.
Absolutely.
We're fucking
We have
like,
different interests,
we have different interests
hobbies.
like so. It's like when shit like that. It's like
Well-
getting constantly compared. Like especially growing up when you're young, it makes you feel. And this is definitely something Nick's gonna talk more about. It makes you feel like left out, kind of, or like more of like questioning on your own being.
Yeah.
Because it's like, bro, motherfuckers were like asking us at like 8 years old. Like when me and Matt are playing hockey, they're like, "Oh, why don't you play? Why don't like you stick out by
Yeah.
not playing or shit?"
Yeah.
Like if when I grew my hair out when I was younger, like I
Yeah.
was the first. Like we always used to get just buzz cuts, and then I was the first one to have long hair. Like, oh, why'd you grow out your hair?
Yeah.
Like it
But-
makes you feel like you're like fucking crazy.
And I
Yeah.
think another thing with, like, constantly being compared is kind of, like, if you think about it, like, the number one thing and people are like, oh, social media is, like, I know this isn't really about social media and it's more about like just being triplets, but the number one thing in the world when people are saying like why social media is negative on people's mental health is because like most of the time it's teen girls comparing themselves to other teen girls on the internet. And like the fact that like the beauty standard online is so fake to like actual reality of like what people look like. And that's why it's like we've had like those, I feel like, constructs of like what to do and what to look like and constantly being compared to each other against each other like our entire life.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like
it's just
it's
like,
like too much
people forced
constant.
us 3 into like a competition of like we never wanted to like there was never a competition. I don't think I ever felt like I was competing with
I
you
agree.
and Matt, but like obviously I was heavier than you guys like the entire beginning of our life. You know what I mean? So it was like being like not even like people necessarily saying it, but like being heavier and then both of you being skinnier than I was. It's just like an immediate thing of like we are literally triplets. We were born at the same time. People think that we do everything together, and it would like confuse me as to like why do I have to be the one that's like 20 pounds more than Matt and Chris? Like no, that was a genuine
No,
thought.
I-
Like,
yeah,
the way
yeah.
you
Like,
worded it.
why
Why
do
do
I
I have to be the one that's
Yeah.
fucking 20 pounds heavier? Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's
I'm
awesome.
not laughing at you.
No, I know
Yeah.
you're not laughing. I just think it's like a general thing of like it became
Well,
like
I am laughing.
no,
just
which
not-
is great. I love humor, but it used to be like a constant comparison of every single way and every
Yeah.
single thing ever. Because also like being gay as well, and then realizing that it took me a while to like people comparing us all the time and making us feel like we were so similar confused me to when I started like having like initial like hints in my mind that I was gay and like what that like the development in my brain to be able to process that. I thought while I was going through that, there was no way that you and Matt also weren't. So
Yeah.
like when I was feeling that, I was like, oh, are we all gonna be gay? Like, let's see how this goes. You know what I mean?
No.
Turns out we're not. But I was like when you're starting to have those thoughts and feelings and people are comparing you the same your entire life, you immediately think that your 2 siblings who you've constantly been compared to are also going through that.
Yeah.
So like my brain starts developing and changing like that. I was like, why am I the only one doing
I
this?
feel like with like the whole comparison thing too, it's like the second it's like, oh, if we all shaved our head, it's like, oh wow, I can't tell who's who, this and that, and like comparing us together to see
Yeah.
who looks like. But then the second one of us, like Chris said, he grew out his hair first, and then like if like Chris grew out his hair and then you started getting tattoos, it's like, oh, but why doesn't he grow out his hair and why doesn't he get tattoos?
Yeah.
So like either way, whether we all
Correct.
look alike or whether
Yeah.
we're all different, we're still being compared to what
It
could
just
change or
also
what shouldn't, and it's just weird.
what you said just reminded me to like go back way back of one of my least favorite fucking things about being a triplet is when motherfuckers in public genuinely make us like all stand right next to each
Yeah.
other and then
Oh,
just
yeah.
look at us like zoo animals. We're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, you're triplets. No way, we're the other ones. And they make you fucking gather
Yeah,
as a
and then
group.
just stand
No,
there.
I
And they're
remember.
like,
Oh, let
literally-
me look at you. Get together. And then they like fucking stand
Examine
there.
you.
And then you like we just stand there like this, like, and then they never do anything about it. Like they never.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, I got it. Matt, Nick, Chris.
And they're wrong.
No,
and,
this-
oh, and they like,
you were right. Okay, and then it's just like,
Yeah,
all right.
and
I
I
also
think,
want to
like,
go
the-
fucking
the fucking
shop.
worst.
And
Like,
people, another thing that used to like kill me, that was so annoying, is people used to just pick like 3 character traits and kind of just like assign them off the bat. Like,
Yeah,
who's the
see-
smartest? They'd see triplets and they're like, oh, like who's the smartest one? Who pulls all the girls?
Yeah.
who does it?
Who does it? And then like they genuinely like wait for an answer, and it's just like, why could we not all
be
pull all
smart.
the bitches? Oh, well, yeah. So whatever, you know. And
I
it's just
agree.
like, why could we not all be smart? Why could we not all do this?
Who
I
would,
sound like
who would win
Victoria
in a fight?
Justice.
Who
in that
would win
one
in a
movie.
fight?
literally.
I think we all sing. You know what I'm talking about? That
No, I
fucking
don't.
funny ass thing. Okay. All right. Next.
I think we all.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
You got me fucked up now.
No, it's just like, I don't know. Constant comparison was definitely a battle.
I
that-
feel like constant comparison is just bad in an overall term with anything. Like
And I
if you're constantly comparing yourself and what you do to other things,
You'll
even
never
when it
let
comes down
yourself
to like
succeed.
a project, like if you're making something and you constantly compare it to other things that
Mhm.
exist, you're never gonna create something authentic and real.
But
to
I
That's
think,
like
yourself.
so real.
I think it
like everything
also-
in real life too.
it also started to like affect like
Nick,
self.
there's that word you wanted to use that starts with a D. That
I don't know, because it seems like such an aggressive word
Yeah.
for it. But I always like I said in the conversation when me and Chris were talking about it, like the word dehumanizing, and I know that that's used in like it's like a very, very strong word.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is kind of true in a sense of like, I googled it because I'm like, is this word like really like what does it mean? Because I want to be educated about it before I say it out loud. And it genuinely is just like someone stripping the values of like you feeling like a human being.
it just makes you feel like
And
you're not
it's-
enough on your own when
And
it comes to
literally,
triplet
that was
shit.
that was a
huge,
major
yeah.
thing of like when me, Matt, and Chris were constantly being compared to each other, and like the glory you feel like when you're a triplet and like these people like coming up to you like being like, oh my god, there's 3 of you, like that's insane. It's like if I go into a store alone and like people don't notice that I'm a triplet, it kind of just like having like such a high of like being a triplet and people being amazed by that, going around alone and then kind of having nothing because people don't know that you're a triplet, just looking at you alone, it kind of just like makes you realize that like
The only
the
time
value
people
in
thought-
us is together.
And like the only time that like people would like see us and be like, oh my god, but it's like when we're all us 3 together. But if
Yeah.
like they're just walking by one of us, it's like whatever.
Which was
who
then
cares?
difficult for like I feel like making friends and stuff because
Yeah.
it's like you then don't like, I don't know, I feel like having so much like joy and like people being so excited about you being a triplet, it kind of made it seem like if I was like alone at a friend's house, I'd be like, wow, I wonder if they're like enjoying their time with just me or if they're
Oh my
like
God,
mad
that was
that
my
they're not
biggest-
all here.
That was
Like
my
I used to always be
biggest
scared of
thing.
like, and then
Like, am I here just because this person like fucks with Nick today, or
yes,
like
yeah.
I used to
but
think
then
that
also
shit.
like finally when we would get to hang out with someone completely alone, like I remember going to a friend's house and I'd be like, why me? Like I'm like,
I agree.
how does this person see any value in me as an individual here?
I
Like
fully
I was
agree.
invited here alone.
It's such
today,
a
and it'd
weird
be
thing because like I
confusing.
feel like we're bitching about like something that's so awesome. To be honest,
Yeah.
like
No,
being
but I
triplets and
think-
shit.
It has its pros and its cons within everything, and I feel like whenever people
into the mic.
I feel like whenever people think of like being a triplet, they can think there's no like harm in like all that type of stuff. When like it's not like people do anything on purpose, but like certain things like the comparisons and like all that just make the other ones feel some type of way
Well,
about
it just makes growing up. It made growing up confusing because I feel like a lot of the times too, like when you're an only child, if you spend or like even I keep saying only child, but like triplets is so unique that even if you have siblings, but say like your siblings like 3 years older than you,
Yeah.
or 3 years younger than you, you're not like sharing a room. You're not sharing the same class. Like if you're in like
yeah.
6th grade and they're in high school already, like you're living 2 different lives. You have different friend groups. Like when you're a triplet,
you have the same friends, you have the same friend group, you're doing the same thing, you're in the same classes in school. Like, so triplet is like the age. It's like, one, it's siblings, but it's also like your siblings, and like the world is structured for you to have the same experiences.
Yeah. And as
So-
weird as it sounds, I honestly like when people have like a favorite triplet. If that makes any
I
sense.
love it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
if-
it's not even like a favorite, but it's like when
one that they can understand, they get along with.
It's not even like
more.
a favorite. It's more of like we have friends currently that we've made in the past year that it's like they love us all equally, but like I made the friend and like we have a bond that like I'll use like fucking Nathan's a bad example because he was all of our friend at once, but Nathan met Nick first, met me and Matt after, and he appreciates all of us as individuals.
Yeah.
Where he'll have moments where he'll like get along with Matt more, get along with Nick
Yeah,
more, get along with me more. Johnny's a great example where it's like
Yes.
Johnny Ransom is a great friend to all three of us, and I know he appreciates all three of us individually, but him and Matt relate more, and I feel like it's honestly cool when like one of us three can relate with one of the friends more instead of feeling like the group. Like I used to hate when we would hang out with people and it would just feel like they're with like the triplets and like they don't
Yeah.
fuck
Or, like,
with like any
I feel like-
individual.
And I think even Maddie, like, since Maddie we're with constantly, she's in a position where like I feel like she's with us more than any of our other friends. So it's like she has such a strong ability to be able to like hang out with us as a group, but still make us feel like individuals within being like
100%.
with a
Yeah.
group of people.
That's like what it is, bro. Like when you hang out, like if like the one thing I notice in friends and making friends is like, does this person actually see interest in like being friends with all of us for who we are and understand that we're all different people?
Yeah.
Like, and then especially with like just including us three, like when they can tell that like someone is like, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I sound like a baby when I'm excluded and they invite me in, but like no, like literally, like it's truly like just a cool feeling when you can relate to like one of
I agree.
like your friends.
And
And it's like we all know that like I might relate with someone more about this because we're different fucking humans.
Yeah.
It's honestly like if you dumb down this whole episode, it's like we're triplets and we fucking have the same exact life experiences and we grow up together and we experience a lot and we've always done shit together. But at the end of the day, we're still our own humans with our own thoughts.
Yep.
But, like, what's the next topic? Does anybody have it?
Hive mind.
The
Yeah.
hive mind is crazy.
I
Yeah.
always use hive mind from Stranger Things as like the example of like, if you haven't seen Stranger Things, there's like, well, I'm not gonna fucking explain Stranger Things.
I'll explain it.
Okay.
In a brief setting. There's an enemy in Stranger Things, the fucking Mind Flayer, and he operates things like he can take over humans and then he can like run their mind. But then if like one of these motherfuckers get like hit with like if Lucas hits them with a firework and they burn or something, the whole structure of it feels it. Like the
Yeah.
hive mind is
Yeah.
like, it's like if your brain was in 100 different people and if one of those people got smacked, all 100 bodies would feel it because they have
I don't
the
even
same
know if
brain.
it's feeling it, but like would be aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if someone was like literally getting punched in the face and they were like a part of it, like
They're like,
everyone,
oh no, like
everyone would
my
know.
like person is getting hit, and they're like
Yeah.
they're aware of that.
So that's why I put down hive mind, because I think that that's a perfect way to like people think we work. Where like sometimes I feel like people will tell me something and then they'll go up to Chris and bring it up and he'll have no idea what they're talking about, but they think we have like this hive mind connection that like the moment they told me, it like entered Chris's knowledge.
Yeah,
You know?
that shit's always so funny to me. Where it's like
It's honestly
it's funny when motherfuckers get
hilarious.
upset by it.
Yeah.
Like mom, I used to call mom motherfuckers, but like that was actually terrible wording and terrible introduction
terrible
to
setup.
that. Yeah,
But-
terrible setup. But like with mom, like mom will come up to me and be like, "Oh well, honey, like I made you dinner," and I'll be like, "Oh, awesome," and I'll eat like 2 tacos and then I'll go to the bathroom, and then Nick will be like, "Mom, I'm hungry." He's like, "Ah," she's like, "I told you, like I made dinner, like dinner's been ready." And Nick's just like, "No, I had no fucking clue dinner was ready.
Yeah,
you
I think
only told Chris."
when it's like the
That was
when it has to
terrible.
the thing that's funny with me is like, or funny to me is like when it's like having to be places or like
oh my god, yeah.
It's like 5:30 on Friday. We have to all be at fucking so and so's house, right?
And they'll only tell you.
And then like one of us know, and it's like where one of us is like getting dressed and ready, and then it's just like, oh, what are you guys doing? Like we
Yeah,
got
what?
It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I had
plans
no
or
idea
something,
until
and
right this second.
That's the funniest. Like I love being sarcastic that it's actually real. Like, Matt was literally getting ready once and, like, he's like, I'm waking up at 10 tomorrow morning. I'm like, what, you got plans or something? He goes, yeah, we have to be at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I had no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's always, like, funny to me. And people that think that, I don't know, bro. Like, I remember when we were playing sports growing up, motherfuckers thought we had, like, a cheat code. Because, like, we'd all be on the ice together, and they'd be like, oh, is it easier? Because, like, you can tell where your brother's going to be on the ice. And
Bro.
I'm like, what? Like,
yeah,
what
I'm
are you talking
triplet. I'm
about?
not. I don't have fucking telepathy.
Yeah,
there's,
like, I'm not Jesus. I can't
Yeah.
fucking tell. Well, I'm not with everybody in the rink. Like, I don't know what to tell.
Chris,
Getting noticed in public.
oh my god.
Like
Before
prior
YouTube.
followers. Well, like, it's just honestly the popularity of being a triplet. It was just
I feel
weird,
like
bro.
A good example of this recently is in Hawaii. Well, I feel like we kind of have to, like, before we even tell an example, it's kind of like what we're kind of talking about right now is, like, the popularity of being a triplet or, like, getting noticed in public is, like, since there's 3 of you and it's, like, such an amazing fact to some people, people always often ask us because, like, we blew up on social media in, like, under a year and then started to get, like, noticed in public by people who are fans of us. So people are like, how are you adapting to, like, this whole new thing of, like, people coming up to you in public and, like, asking to take a photo, and, like, how does that for you? And the reason it's
Let
like
Matt explain it.
yeah, so I feel like I'm gonna say the example first because I feel like it's easier to say what we're thinking
That's
after
fine.
the
I
example.
disagree, but that's fine.
But so when we were in Hawaii recently for Maddie's birthday trip, we went into a Cinnabon shop, and we go in there, and the lady starts, like, freaking out. She's like, oh my god, this is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And we obviously have a following on YouTube now, so we're, like, immediately gonna think it's like, oh, she's, like, either has a daughter that's a fan of us, or she, like, has watched our videos herself. So we go in there, she's freaking out, and then she's like, oh my god, triplets, I've never seen triplets in real life before. This is crazy. Like, she basically, like, just was like, oh, Matt, Nick, Chris, like, met us, we told her name, all that, took the picture, and she has a picture with us on her phone because we're triplets and not because of the fact that we're social media creators.
Mind blowing.
And she'll probably never know.
Yeah, but it's like, the stuff like that happened our entire life growing up in, like, a small city, and then, like, we every time we play sports, if there's, like, twins on the other team, and then it's like, I remember, like, we did a kickball tournament once, and there's twins on the team, and it's like we're taking pictures as, like, the triplets and
All the
twins on the team,
multiples,
and it's like, yeah, and it's just like people would always want us to take pictures with, like, other sets of twins, or us to take pictures with them to be like, you'll never believe it, I met triplets today. So it's like when we talk about, like, popularity of being triplets, it was more of, like, everybody in our city, like, kind of knew that there were triplets in this grade, and, like,
It's
they're
just, like,
triplets
kind of,
at
like,
this
so
high school.
insane because it makes us seem, like, way more important or valuable than we are, and I don't like talking about it in, like, a sense of, like,
Cool.
oh my gosh, like,
Like,
they're so
yeah.
cool and unique. But it was more just, like, generally because it's such a bizarre, wild thing, people were very, like,
Intrigued.
intrigued by it always. So
Like
it was
that-
kind of just like,
like-
an underlying factor of, like,
Yeah.
oh, those
Mhm.
were triplet siblings.
Yeah. I think, like, even, like, in high school, like, I knew, like, every student at our school, like, knew who we were
At least one of us.
for the sole reason of us being triplets. Like, even if they weren't, like, friends with us, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, like, that's the motherfucker that, like, the clones. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
The
I remember being
clones.
called the clones by people that didn't know
Yeah.
like who we were or never
Well,
met
I feel
us.
like a crazy thing is, like, the fact that, like, going into high school was wild because we went to, like, a smaller middle school. So when we were at the high school, there were so many new people that
Yeah.
people used to, like, if Chris started a new class and he made a friend that me and Matt weren't in the class, people would go up to, like, me or Matt in the hallway and be like, hey, how are you? Like, nice to see you. And then we'd have to, like, at the end of the day, all, like, get together and be like, oh, someone with, like, curly hair, glasses, like, 4'7" went up to us and said,
Yeah.
like, oh, hi, how are you?
And then
At,
Matt
like,
would be like,
fourth
oh,
period.
that's fucking...
Oh, that's so-and-so from my drumline class or something.
Yeah.
You know, like, you'd have to, like, break down, like,
that was always fun.
That was always
honestly.
so funny because it's like, because then it's funny when they address you by name and you have to go with it because it's like a brief moment in the
Mhm.
hallway. Like,
Yeah.
you'll be like, hey, Nick, and walk right by me. I'm like,
And then it's funny
Yeah,
because
sometimes
it's
it's
funny
easier
because
to-
it's funny 'cause then that person will meet all three of us, but they won't remember
remember.
that time that they were
Yeah.
incorrect. They'll just be like, "Oh, that's cool," like, and they'll think that that's
Yeah.
the first time that they're
Sometimes
ever
it's
talking
easier
to
to
us.
like go along with it and just say hi and pretend that you're one
Oh,
of the
it's
other
way
siblings
easier to
than
go
like
along with it.
explain what
easier.
just happened.
I do
yeah.
that all the time, like still to this day.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like even at, like at a meet and greet, some girl called me Nick, and I was like, she's like, "Hey Nick," I was like, "What's up?" And like, fist
Yeah, I
bumped
think-
her.
I
Like,
think- like-
I wasn't gonna be like, "Yo, I'm not Nick."
I think
Yeah.
the funniest story Chris ever told me was when he went to Target once and he was walking around and some kid went up to him and asked him if he was Sturniolo triplets and he goes, "Nah, but I'm one of them."
Yeah, that shit was.
This kid runs up to me, and I was alone. Why was I alone?
I don't know.
It wasn't in a Target.
I think it was outside a car. I think I was like getting in a car.
Either way, you were
Yeah,
like,
this
continue.
kid runs up to me. He goes, "Oh my god, bro, you're Sturniolo triplets." I was like, "I'm not Sturniolo triplets. I'm one of them, though." But
Yeah.
That it's just
Yes.
that was funny.
Like, that
to
shit
me,
was
'cause,
so
like he has
funny.
no idea.
are you
which-
the Sturniolo triplets? I go, "No, bro, I'm not."
It's giving
I'm
the
only
same
one."
energy
I'm
as
only
like
one.
the Krusty Krab, the Patrick Star thing.
No.
Like is this the Krusty Krab? No, it's Patrick. And then he hangs up the phone. I love that clip.
Yeah,
so
that's a
much.
great one.
But that was funny.
Yeah.
When did you guys first realize like, oh fuck, we're triplets?
Oh.
Like you're like, damn.
I think it was like.
I think like honestly, holidays for me.
No.
Like seeing the
Oh, well, for
fluctuation.
you. Sorry, I said no, as if like
of like
can't
just
have
like,
our opinion.
like mom and dad went stupid on holidays. Like
yeah,
we were
Christmas
blessed.
was insane.
Like Christmas, the amount of presents there were like under the tree, but like not even really Christmas. It's more of the things that come in like little numbers, like that is particular to you on a holiday.
like stockings, like there's
Yeah,
being,
like
like
3
4 of 'em.
stockings, and then like all like the 4 Easter baskets, like all 3 of us and
Mhm.
Justin. Like seeing that, and I'm like, wow, like there's really one for each of us, and like we're all the same age, and this is all our like
Mhm.
first Easter, all our second Easter.
think-
like that shit. Like I think it was holidays for
I
me.
think the shit that made me realize it was like on weekends when you didn't have school, so you weren't seeing 100 different kids every day.
Yeah.
But like on the weekends, we were still with each other at our house. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, there's something like this isn't school, but there's kids here that like
What? This is like
what?
for him to say no, for me saying like holidays, and then
and
say
then
that
come
like
up with like the
I feel like-
weekend.
no,
Like,
'cause
oh,
that's
Every
true.
weekend, y'all wouldn't leave your home.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, is that not reasonable?
I feel like it's very unreasonable. Yeah, it's strange.
Like eating cereal together, sitting on the floor watching TV.
Oh,
That's when I was
weird.
like, okay,
I feel like
I
we're
did
all-
like when we did like clone activity. Like we
Yes.
put like the same clothes on and like all go outside and it'd be
Dude.
like, bro, like why the fuck are these
dude.
two identical
I feel like it was just
fucks
like
walking
also
around
going
with
to
me?
kindergarten. Like once we were getting in school and like being seen by tons of people, just the amount of like,
bro.
Kind of what that
That's
said.
exact-
not true at all.
Okay, whatever.
You're
go.
saying you said that like us being triplets in school and
Whatever,
then going
whatever,
home on the
dog.
weekends and not going to school but still being together is what did it for you. That's
Okay,
not what
whatever.
I'm saying.
Go.
I'm saying once we were at school and people were like, "Oh, like you guys look so much alike. Like you are like, are you guys triplets?" And then we'd have to be like, "Oh yeah, we are." Like that's when it was.
Well, I didn't realize being a triplet was this crazy fucking thing for some people.
neither did
Like, people
I.
would go like, "Oh my god, are you triplets?" I'd be like, "Yeah, calm down. Like, I don't know
Settle
why
down.
you're excited about
I agree. I
this."
feel like
I'm
it was like for the first like before you got to school, it was just like this is how every day is
because it is
gonna
kind of
run.
crazy. Like when people go up to you, like, "Oh my god, you're triplets." It's almost like they were like congratulating you or like awarding you for something you did. When it's like I simply had. Did you guys have any control over being a triplet?
No.
because I don't
I had
recall.
full control.
I was like, I don't recall
I
being like,
selected you two as my brothers.
I'm like, that's like crazy.
All right.
You were
Next
the-
topic.
Were we one zygote or 3?
Nick,
Bro,
like,
fucking
dog,
what?
I have no idea.
You
Like,
know what
do
I mean? Like a
Google
zygote,
it.
like in like the womb. Like, is it one and then it like splits, or is it
Like
like
Alright.
what the fuck's the
So
zygote?
growing up in the same
it's
house,
too like PG? It's not PG. I'm not gonna talk
just
about
Google it. It doesn't matter if it's PG or not. Just
I
like,
feel
what
like
is
it doesn't
one
matter, and I
zygote?
feel like we have no way of figuring that
It's,
out. So I
I'm
think
no way of figuring that out, motherfucker. We don't live in Bethlehem. Like we can Google it.
I'm honestly
I'm
curious.
not saying it like we have no access to the
I
internet.
feel like Bethlehem is a bad response. I feel like Bethlehem modern day has Google. You have to say something like about the past.
this isn't.
Like this
We're
is
not Vikings.
All right,
Yeah,
we're gonna we're gonna
Good place.
we're gonna switch the topic here. What
Are
were
we?
the pros of cons of never
Pros of cons.
pros and cons?
Correct. I was disagreeing with what you previously said. Pros of cons.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
know what you were supposed
Pros
to
and cons
say.
of never being
Pros and. It's not
It's
pros,
not pros
of cons.
Pros and cons. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you guys for listening about what our life is like off camera this week. We are so thankful for you guys, and we're super excited to talk about more about what our life is like off camera every episode. So we will see you next week.
And
on
if you don't know
the Cut
us,
the
I'm
Camera
Chris
podcast.
Sturniolo, one of the 3 Sturniolo triplets.
I'm Matt Sturniolo.
I'm Nick Sturniolo. And
And-
goodbye, campers, and we'll see you next week on the Cut the Camera
Campers.
podcast.
Peace.